Hey there, kids! Welcome to the Child of Mecha live stream. I'm your host, Tim, the one and only Child of Mecha. It is Wu-Tang Wednesday. What's going on, everybody? Hope you had a good day. Hope you're staying cool out there. Happy Canada Day to our friends up north. Mr. Todd messaged me earlier and said they were sweltering up there just like we were down here. So, Todd, I just saw your message right before the stream. So, sorry. Ooh, hey, Mr. Greek Knockos, Charles. Look at that, dude. He's been subbed for 76 months. Charles, you get one of these, buddy. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you, Charles. Appreciate that more than you know, bud. Anywho, like I was saying, it is Canada Day for our friends up north. Happy Canada Day. So Todd messaged me earlier, and I literally just saw it before the stream. So he says it's sweltering up there. Dude, it was hot as shit today, and it's supposed to be even hotter tomorrow and Friday and Saturday. So yeah, fun times. Got out there on the trail today. It was 94, 95 something degrees, and humidity was high, so it felt much warmer than that. God, I was just sweating, just dripping. It was gross. Anyway, yeah. So it was warm. It was warm today. It was warm. So hope you guys have had a wonderful Wednesday so far. Hopefully we can tie a bow on this thing and improve your day no matter what. So real quick, you guys, right there. Question of the day. What's one part of the building process that you hate the most and why? I'll go first. It is masking. I hate masking. Masking hell, as I like to call it. It's just so fucking tedious and time consuming. And it's just, you gotta get it just right, and it's so intricate and just bleh. And it's a crucial part of the process, which I totally understand. But I hate doing it. It's like nails down a chalkboard. Swear. Nails down a chalkboard for me. So, anywho. Now, also too, make sure you go sign up for to get notified of when the Child of Mecha store opens officially. That should be Friday, hopefully. In your email, when you get the notification, you get a nice big old discount code for your first purchase. So there will be a lot to choose from. That is for sure. Continuing to redraw, a bunch of stuff, converting stuff from the old, formats and things like that. Making some new designs, working on the pilots right now, the pilot insignias and things. So that's all really, starting to come together very, very nicely. So, and then obviously still working on the Titans test team insignia as well. So yeah, all that's looking really, really good. Should have a bunch of stuff in there. And like I said, you'll get a nice big old discount code with your first, with that notification for your first purchase. So definitely sign up for notifications for the store, and you will not be disappointed. So, all right, let's get highs out of the way. Oh yeah, and also don't forget to go buy your yeah. All right. So let's see. Looks like we got Bill's with us. He says, howdy, y'all. Andrew says, evening. He says, don't mind me too much. I'm just over here losing my goddamn mind. What's going on, Andrew? What's going on? Let's see. Bill says, drop it on the floor and lose it in the carpet. Just kidding. Hope it gets better. Yeah, right? There we go. Julius is with us. He says, I'm double dipping, watching the stream and the U.S. playing football. By that, I assume soccer? Football? Like, obviously, everybody calls it football other than, you know, us godless heathens here in the U.S. Yeah, I don't, and honestly, I don't really follow the, you know, football, soccer, whatever. I don't follow it. The most I follow is just watching Welcome to Wrexham, just because it's a good documentary. I could give a shit about, you know, the actual soccer and games and everything. It's just a really good documentary. Let's see. Andrew says, thanks. Just had a wild thought of what I wanted for support vehicles for my GM, Master Grade GM team. And the first thought was a Pegasus class, either Gray Phantom design or Albion design. Interesting. Let's see. Andrew answered the question of the day. Sanding. It's just plain annoying. Yeah, I agree with that. It's pretty lame. Yeah, it's pretty lame. Todd says, getting bad thunderstorms here where I live tonight, so I might not be on much, and was out in the crazy heat today and also not feeling good tonight because of it. Oh, yeah, dude. I'll tell you what, man, when I came back from my trail walk, immediately jumped in, you know, a cool shower just to try and, you know, cool off. And I'll tell you what, it was damn near all the way to the turned right, you know, to the cold side. And even after I stayed in there for a little bit, I got out and I'm just drenched, just still sweating. It was crazy. And then it just zapped all of my energy. So I actually took a nap. So that was fun. Let's see. And then Bill answered the question of the day. Paying for everything. As for why, well, I think it's self-evident. Yeah, well. Let's see. Todd says, answer sanding small parts that have small details. Yeah, kind of intricate, right? Kind of intricate. Bill says to Julius, the U.S. playing football? Where? I only know of the soccer match of the World Cup. And he, of course, capitalized soccer to emphasize, right? Excuse me. So let's see. Todd says, how's everyone tonight? Tired and you? Drained? Julie says, Bill, you so funny, Bill. I know the U.S. has to be different than others. First it was the unit of measure, imperial versus metric, then football versus soccer. Yeah, it is. We have to be different. Bill says, hey, it was the English that renamed all the other forms of football besides the American one. Blame them, right? There you go. Julius, let's see. He answered the question today. He says, I think I would agree with Tim's most hated task, masking for paint. Bleh. Fuck masking. Charles is over there on Twitch. He says, I don't hate it, but it's the least enjoyable. Sanding. Yeah. You know, and sanding for me is probably second on the most hated process. But yeah, masking is just bleh. Hate masking. And mind you, I'm not ever going to use what is it, that liquid mask. Never going to use it. I've just seen too many issues with it, and it's not really accurate enough for me. So yeah, I gotta mask each individual little part. I just have to. Let's see. Julia says, yeah, it got pretty hot here in Northern California. Also at about 77 degrees with a breeze. Man, Julius, killing me, bud. Todd says we had storms off and on. It cooled the air down, but sitting in front of my AC right now. Yeah, I don't blame you, dude. I'm in my studio is in the basement, and normally it stays rather cool down here, right? But ever since I swapped out the window for my double layer kind of PVC sheet thing, I think that upped the insulation in here a tremendous amount. And when we had the heat on, during the winter and everything, it started to get warm in here. It never used to get warm in here, and I was just like, oh, that's new. And then same now, had the AC going, and it's like a fucking refrigerator down here. It's so freaking cold. So yeah, I know how that feels right now. He also says they had fireworks at the park tonight in the thunderstorm. Now, how stupid does that sound? If they can get away with it, if there's no safety issues, good time for all. Good holiday. So, it's Canada Day for our friends up north. Let's see. George is with us. Good evening, all. Georgie, how are you, bud? Let's see. Andrew, I'm trying to get my parents to get the landlord and get new insulation in the walls and mini splits installed. It's 85 degrees in my fucking bedroom. Parents and sisters' rooms are mid-70s. Oof. Oof. Rough. He says, and I think I'm blowing shit out of proportions. No. Nah, it's cool. No, trust me, the heat will do that to you, Andrew. It'll get in your head and you will not enjoy anything. So, I get it. I totally get it. George says, football over football any day of the week. Respectfully disagree, but to each their own. Calvin's with us, Mr. Calvin Branham. He says, hello there, and if you're wondering where's Waldo, I found him. Where was he? Where was he, Calvin? Where'd you find that little bastard? Let's see. Andrew says, Tim, you need some Just for Gunpla on that beer you're growing. Looking a little too much like the RX-782 there. Yeah, you like that, huh? Yeah, sometimes I let it grow a little bit. I don't think any longer than this. It's starting to get a little itchy. So, I excuse me. I tend to think I have like a bit of a baby face when I'm not, when I don't have facial hair. Yeah, I'm not sure. I just, sometimes I go back to this. Depends on how I feel, honestly. Bill says, I don't wonder where Waldo is, just what we're doing tonight. Brain? No! Take over the world! Anyway, that was my very bad impression of Brain from Animaniacs. That was Pinky. Pinky and the Brain. Yeah. Brain? I fucked that up. I should have totally said that line in Brain's voice, or in Pinky's voice, not Brain. Fuck it. Oh, I fucked it up. Anyway, Dave B is with us. Evening, folks. Happy Canada Day. Dave, I saw you messaged me on Instagram. I have not had a chance to look at it, though, yet. I will do that after the stream. I apologize. Let's see. Oh, he also says, Happy Canada Day. Evening, folks. Let's see. Pinky and the Brain. One is a genius. The other instance, Narf. Yeah. Fuck, I messed that up so bad, and I feel so ashamed right now. Andrew says liquid mask is more for Star Trek ships, I think. Mask the windows so that you don't block the light from them. Yeah. Well, and also for like I think figures and stuff too. I've seen like a lot of professional, figure modelers and stuff use liquid mask on like skin tones and stuff like that after they do that, and that just blows my mind. Like that's one part of the hobby that I'm just like, how do they achieve that? And like I see the process. Don't get me wrong. I watch the process, the how-to, and I'm still like, they painted the whole thing blue, like a blue wash. And I'm like, why? And then they paint it with a red wash, and then they do a bunch of other stuff, and I'm like, it looks like skin. Like, I don't get it. It's crazy to me. That's just one part of the hobby that's just like, yeah, that's not me, man. I'm not there with it. So, or if Aurora says Diet Ginger Tim, come on, man. I'm not that Irish. I'm Irish, but I'm not that Irish. Brian's with us. Mr. Lelouch, he says, I am here. We are here. We are here. Dave B answered the question. Sanding sucks. That's been a pretty consistent message here tonight. He says, but those sanding pens, the Argophile, works wonders on flat surfaces, can attach sanding sponges for curved surfaces as well. Interesting. Mr. Bryan, he answered question of the day. He says, cutting clear parts off runners. Stress marks always that I have to deal with. Yeah, I mean, if you want to keep them clear, that's problematic. I usually don't mess with clear parts too much. So, yeah. Other than obviously, the eyes and, the camera lenses and stuff like that. That's, goes without saying. But like full-on clear kits, nah, I gotta paint it. Let's see, Todd, he says, Tim, I have a question.
We have a question.
What is the best way to sand panel-lined parts that have glue on them? Do you mean like that are not painted yet, Todd? I'm kind of a little lost in what you're kind of referring to. I'm sorry. It's probably just me, but let me get this part. There we go. Okay. Anyway, let's go camera 2, and let's see if we can figure this out. Okay. All right. So here's the foot that we scribed yesterday, and man, that just came out super good. Look at that. Look at that. Right. Anyway, so okay, cool. So pre-painted. Bare plastic, right? So if you have glue or something like that on here, and if it's like panel lined, like, scribed in and everything, just treat it the same way, honestly. I had to do that on, where'd it go? On the knee part here, for the Shiki. And, we detailed the other knee part, right? And we detailed actually both parts, but what I failed to do in my haste of detailing was I forgot to fill in some of the pre-molded details on this thing. It had 3 like pre-molded notches, one here, one in the middle here, and one down at the bottom here. And I forgot to fill those in before I applied, the detailing and everything to the knee part. So I had to go back and fill those in on both sides. And this thing has already, as you can see, already been panel lined and everything like that. So, just got to be just real careful with it. Mind you, this was super glue. So of course I started by trimming back the super glue, with the hobby knife first, got that down to a fairly respectable level, and then came in with the file, filed that, nice and smooth, and then came in with some, somewhat coarse sandpaper and just, evened everything out. And then I finished it off with some finer sandpaper just to get that, kind of baby smooth finish there. That's really the full process of how I treat parts that have already been panel lined that, have to either glue something to or fill in, details and things like that. Now, mind you, you may have to go back and rescribe some lines, clean out some corners, things like that. It's just part of the hobby. Like with this, these little bits of plastic here that we've applied across the panel lines, sometimes I'll have to, go back and just clean out, the little bit of, glue and plastic squeeze out and things like that from, that might have gotten into the panel lines. And that's just really part of the cleanup process, in all honesty. But yeah, you just basically treat it the same way as any other part, just sand it smooth. So, anywho, let's see. Dave B says, for masking, I've seen people use blue tack for detailed areas. I've seen that too, especially in armor. And what I mean, like realistic armor, like tanks and, armored vehicles and things like that. With the camouflage patterns and stuff, I've seen that used on, simply because what they'll do is when they go to paint, that blue tack will leave kind of a soft edge around the mask, and that just evidently it just kind of blends the camo together real nicely in some of the camo patterns and stuff. So yeah, I've seen that used for that, and then I've also seen it used for just general masking and stuff. If it's excuse me, if it's a recessed area, I totally get it. Like I've seen people paint the insides of thruster bells, do like fancy gradients and stuff like that, and then they, stuff blue tack or poster tack in there, to kind of mask that off, and then they go and spray the outside of the, the thruster bell and everything. So I've seen people use that, and I've actually used that in the past. It actually works really well. The soft edges for blue tack or poster tack would be, my main concern, I think. So, Bill says, you sure it was blue tack? I know miniature guys will use silly putty. Conforms to complex shape and can be reused even after acrylic paints get mixed in. Oh yeah, I've seen silly putty, I've seen poster tack, blue tack, whatever. All of the above. I've seen dudes use Play-Doh. That's not the best solution, trust me, because that shit just breaks and it's just, nasty work, but in a pinch, I guess. Andrew says, if I disappear, I probably tripped the breaker for the second floor going to print out something and my printer sucks power-wise. Oof. Dave B says, yeah, I've seen painters mask off eyes on figures using blue tack / putty prior to airbrushing. Yeah, I've seen that too. And I've also seen them use, like, instead of like liquid mask, I've seen them use like, poster tack for like around the hairline and everything, to mask off, the skin tones and everything, and then be able to, paint the hair, because what that'll do, like I said, it kind of gives somewhat of a soft edge depending on how thin you can get that edge poster tack or blue tack or whatever. The thinner that edge, the more defined line. With some hairlines, you want a bit of graduation in the paint as well. So yeah, I've seen them use that. Bill says, keep your phone on you, Andrew, just in case. You can use it as a flashlight if that power trips. Hey, be safe. Mr. Todd says, thank you, Tim. You're welcome, sir. Bill says, my understanding of using blue tack was that mixing in acrylic paint makes it basically unusable again, so I'll have to look into it and to see if I got it wrong. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I've used it before with great effect, especially that thruster bell trick. And I'll tell you what, I've had this same lump of poster tack for I don't know how long. Yeah, it's gotten paint in it. Like you can see, like it's kind of darker and discolored, but yeah, I've painted over it and a lot of it flakes off. But some of it gets incorporated into, the material itself. So, George says, use blue tack all the time for masking on armor and planes, but also just did a tiger pattern on a Mackay kit to get the 3 layers. See, there we go. Andrew says, I got lucky. Circuit breaker didn't trip. Heyo. George says, blue tack and silly putty are both good. Each has different applications, in my opinion. Let's see. Brian says, finally got my infant daughter to sleep. Aw, I can finally build after a month. Nice, dude. Let's see. Bill says, congrats, Brian. George says, woohoo, Brian, and howdy back. Hell yeah. Julius has a question.
We have a question.
Let's see. He says, is posting kits for sale permitted on the Child of Mecha YouTube community page? I've tried Facebook Marketplace and Craigslist and have mostly gotten window shoppers. That's a good question. How do we feel about that, kids? Here's my thoughts. My initial thoughts, and you let me know if you disagree or not. I'm good with it. Simply because, we obviously know Julius. We know where to find him. No, I'm playing. Yeah, I mean, we know Julius. We know Julius is a stand-up guy. He's not going to cheat anybody. All that. I would say if you're, kind of a regular on here, semi-regular, have interacted and all of that, I would say it's fine. Yeah, I mean, my concern and my reservation would be just like randos coming in that have never participated or chatted or anything like that, never asked a question or whatever, just selling random stuff. But, for those of us that are, properly engaged and, and part of the actual community, yeah, I'm good with it. So you tell me, guys, what do you think? Because I'm open. I'm open to suggestions. I'm open to criticism and feedback there. You tell me. So let's see. What do we have? Andrew says, either way, I'm fine with it. Yeah, okay. George says, Julius, trust that guy? He owes me $2. Nice. Bill says, as long as it is kept sparingly posted. I agree. He says, I don't want it to look, I don't want to look in there and there is just 20 to 30 posts of for sale stuff and not builds and such. Yeah, I agree. I totally agree. So yeah, I mean, every now and then I think is a good measure, and obviously, we can moderate, what we need to moderate at that point. But yeah, I mean, Julius, I'd say you're good to go. Bill says, I want my $2, right? Brian Says, I would just say no spamming on sale, 1 to 2 posts per person. If not, it'll get flooded. Yeah, I agree. I agree. So, yeah, I would say, yeah, Julius, go ahead and throw it up there. But obviously, it's going to be moderated. It's one of those, probably going to be heavily moderated types of things. But yeah, I mean, if you ask, beforehand, if you post in the chat, whatever, I would be good with it. So Julius, yeah, man, thank you for asking, number one. And number two, yeah, it seems like you have our blessing to do that. So go ahead and throw it up, whatever you got. And, we'll take a look. Yeah. Excuse me. Let's see. Lelouch says, crack the whip if they misbehave. There we go. Good one, Brian. All right. Just real quick, you guys, I wanted to mention something that kind of, it hit me a little bit today. It hit me a little bit harder than I had expected it to hit today. Now, if you had missed the... if you're not on Twitter, if you're not following, the Japanese modelers on Twitter, and if you didn't see my Instagram post, I shared a post today from he went by Mad. That was kind of his screen name, so to speak. But his real name was Sakia, something like that. And there was a post on his Twitter and his Instagram, and it was just a text image, just an image of text, and basically it was his wife posted, and evidently Mad passed away very recently from an acute illness, and so this is the there's the obviously the image of the post and everything like that, but yeah, he was in Hobby Japan. He won Orazaku. He was just an extreme talent in Japan. And, an inspiration for a lot of us around the world. I was a fan. I was following him pretty much everywhere. Twitter, Instagram, whole 9 yards. And, have seen his work in Hobby Japan and things like that. And the guy was just super, super talented. And to see Japanese Twitter today, you're seeing a lot of the very, very high level modelers, reposting this and kind of, making, statements of condolences and things and remembrances and, kind of their experiences in, communicating and meeting, Mad. And there were a lot of people that, were just like, I never got a chance to meet you. You were an inspiration, all of that. And, yeah, it's just, this hit me, I think a little harder than I had expected it to. And like I said, that last comment there on this post, we are lesser, as a community today. So, yeah. So rest in peace. Rest in peace, man. So, whew. It got me thinking, honestly. It got me thinking. Let's go camera one here, just real quick. It got me thinking about legacy. What do we leave behind? Obviously Mad's legacy is insane, insanely positive. He touched a lot of people. He inspired a lot of people. That's evident. If you look at Japanese Twitter today and just the the sheer amount of people reposting and the quality of people, reposting that. And, it's evident he left behind a really good legacy, right? So it kind of got me thinking, what do we leave behind? You know what I mean? What do we leave behind? So, yeah, and I mean, obviously that's a question for each person to, ask themselves and everything. And, yeah, sometimes you just got to be a little introspective. So, yeah, one of those things, man. It's a sad day for the hobby. Sad day for the hobby. So, let's see. Bill says, "Oh, and I know Julius isn't one to do this, but no scalping, please." Yes, I agree. Brian says, "Ooh, if this is gonna hurt, I know what you're about to say, Tim." Yeah, right. I'll be honest with you. I kind of got teared up a little bit earlier today, and I'm kind of, fighting it back right now. Obviously I never met the guy, never interacted with him, but, as a fan from afar, and just kind of, seeing his wife go, get on there and thank everybody for, supporting him and being kind and all of that. It was very much in a, very polite, respectful kind of, Japanese traditional tone. So yeah, it hit closer to home. I'll be honest with you. And I don't know why, but yeah, it hit harder than I expected it to. Let's put it that way. Hit harder than I expected it to. So, excuse me. I saw the post on Twitter, and I didn't think anything of it at first. And then I saw a few people, repost it, and I saw Drop Colony on Instagram post it. And if you're not following Drop Colony on Instagram, I highly suggest that you do. He's an amazing artist. His scribing work is mind-blowing. It's really, really good. It's something that I kind of aspire to. But he reposted it, and that kind of perked my ears up. So I looked into it a little deeper, translated the image, and I'm like, fuck. So, yeah. It was one of those things. Julie says everyone has made some really good points related to the negatives with doing so. I don't want to destroy what the community page is meant for, so I will give it a little more thought and let you know. Yeah, I mean, Julius, it's all good, dude. Go ahead and post it. Yeah, I mean, you have our blessing. Yeah. Bill says, mad, yeah, sad news. I think I remember his stuff from Hobby Japan back in the day. Yeah, he's been in there a bunch. Todd says, I'm sorry to hear about it, and my condolences to his family. Yeah, same. His wife even said in that post that she's not going to be able to, respond to DMs and comments and stuff like that. So, yeah. Let's see. Bill says, Julius, please do post them. I mean, you could be helping someone that has been looking for a specific kit. Yeah, that's a really good point. Really good point. Brian says his Hyaku build was award-winning and inspirational for a lot of modelers. Hell yeah. I liked his Dom. I really, really liked his Dom. The shape of the head that he went with and some of the other modifications were really, really good. Really good. And then obviously his, his Psycho Zaku, just pristine work. Absolutely pristine. And then looking at his Instagram page, he was working on a master grade GM Type C, and that will, unfortunately, from what it looks like, be a forever whip. So it's sad. It's sad. Brian says Hall of Builders, Hobby Mecha Builders Hall of Fame. I would say he's in there. Yeah. George says, what we leave behind, hopefully a reminder of the kindness and goodness the person who passed gave to those around them. All else is secondary. Yeah. I agree with that. I think, the quality of the person obviously is paramount, number one. I also think, what type of inspiration, what did you pass along, to make others better, I think that's kind of another part of it. But yeah, George, I agree wholeheartedly. With the quality, the kindness and goodness of a person, that is, that's number one, without a doubt, and probably by a good margin. But I also think, the legacy that you leave behind, how you kind of interacted people with, how you touched them, kind of emotionally, mentally, things like that, are also very, very important. Did you inspire someone to be better? I think that's a big thing. So, Charchwins is with us. What's going on, dude? He says, what's up, guys? We are talking about Mad, or Sakia, unfortunately, and his untimely passing. Kind of just covering that. Julia says, did Mad have a symbol or something that he used to represent himself? If so, maybe Chada Mecha t-shirt with the image to pay homage to him. I don't feel I would not feel comfortable with doing that. I don't want to profit. Even if he sold it at cost, there's somebody that's going to profit off of that, and I'm not. It's a good thought, Julius. It is, but also too, it's just one that I'm not comfortable with anyone profiting from, So, yeah. Charchwins love the shirt also, Tim. Thank you, man. It's Wu-Tang Wednesday. Throw up the dub. George says, my father will not be known, but most people, I guess by most people, but those he touched with his generosity, even when he had little to give, was what made him great, not his hobbies or job or whatever secondary thing. 100%. Yeah, 100%. Gio's with us. He says, hello, everyone. I'm late to the party. Finished the Master Grade Death Scythe inner frame. Posted pics on the community. Nice. Good. George says, sorry, this is a personal topic for me. The what we leave behind thing. Oh, sure. I mean, I think it should be personal to almost everybody at this point, because you never know, when you never know when your last day is going to be, fuck. Sorry, you guys. Yeah, I mean, obviously, like I said, and I don't know why this hit me as hard as it did earlier today, but it hit me. So, yeah. Brian says it makes you think how many other amazing builders we don't know of that sadly passed. Yeah. Hell yeah. And I was actually thinking about that, Brian. How many builders have just kind of fallen out of the hobby that we no longer know of, yeah. The people that, we don't keep in touch with, or, the people that just don't update, it's one of those things, and mind you, that's life. I get it. But still, it makes you wonder. It does make you wonder. Gio says, what happened? Sounds like someone took a shit on someone's cereal. Oh, no. So, Gio, just to bring you up to speed, a Japanese, very talented Japanese modeler. He went by Mad. His real name was Sakaya, something like that. His wife posted a text image, and just image that was just text on his Twitter and Instagram last night, saying that he passed away suddenly from an acute illness. And he was just amazingly talented and, very good person, which is evidenced by, all of the comments that you see on Japanese Twitter today speaking to, his quality and everything. So, yeah, we're just kind of talking about that. And like I said, it kind of hit me a little hard earlier today, and I don't know why. It just kind of did. And just kind of, just kind of going over that. Yeah. Anywho, Bill says, okay, so I have to go. All this talk on this particular subject will start to make me spiral in depression, so I need to jump off, and we'll come back later. Sorry, folks. Bill, no, I get it. I totally get it. And we're about to jump into building here. So, yeah, man. Totally get it. Circle back. All right. So, with that being said, big time rest in peace to Mad and all that good stuff. So, with that being said, let's get back to work a little bit, right? Let's get back to work a little bit. Excuse me. Let's see, real quick. George says later, Bill, totally understandable. Yeah, 100%. Kelvin has a question.
We have a question.
He says, Tim just got back from rocking the dog. I guess walking the dog. Could you show his media site? Yeah. I will bring up Mad's work just real quick. All right, and let's go camera 2. Excuse me. This is his Instagram page, 77 Sakaya, I don't know. Obviously right there, Hobby Japan 2023. Japanese model, Gunpla, all that. And then, so there you go. There's, his feed. Obviously, there's the post that, went out today. The GMC, the Forever Whip, unfortunately. This is his Psycho Zaku. Just breathtaking work. The amount of work that went into this, the subtlety of his touch and everything on this, absolutely mind-blowing. This is the work in progress shot for, or one of the work in progress shots for the Psycho Zaku. Oh, Kelvin says, no, I mean rocking to sleep. Oh, okay. Okay. I didn't understand. I always thought that was a typo there, Kelvin. Holy shit. Okay. I gotcha. Yeah, I mean, this is just some of the modifications that he went into on this is just crazy. There's the head of his Dom. Just really, really good. Very, very tasteful. Love all the modifications to that. This is one of my favorite shots. This is obviously, again, the Dom. And some of the things that he did, for this. And mostly it was just scribe work. Yeah, just insanely good. But let's get down here to some of the work in progress shots for his Zaku. Yeah. I mean, when it's painted, right? It's all of the modifications are insanely just kind of subtle, because he painted in the same color scheme as, the traditional, you know, Psychozaku and everything. And yeah, it's just really freaking good. All right, so here we go. Here's some of the actual more work in progress. So there's kind of a different, looks like the crotch piece. There's that same shot that we looked at before. There's kind of another angle to it. Man, he cut that thing up like crazy. Yeah. So, really good there. There's part of the chest and all that. Man, just super, super talented. Super, super talented. Cut those vents out and all that. There's the legs. Yeah. Really good stuff. And here's the Hyaku. Well, is any good pic? No. We'll get to the pictures of the Hyaku. But pictures of the arm and everything. Yes, this is actually one of my favorite parts. This is obviously the knee portion, and over here, you know, you have those circular thrusters, you know, in the front of the knee. So basically, what he did, tossed him out, went with a box thruster. Super, just brilliant decision in my opinion. And then just a really, really great scribing pattern, just very simple, elegant, to the point. Love that part. Love, love, love that part. That's to the Hyaku. Yeah, here's the Hyaku. Holy shit. Just some of the work that he put into this thing is just incredible. Just really, really incredible. So, but yeah, so right there, if you want to follow, him on Instagram, you know, obviously I am, but yeah, Sakia 77 Sakaya, something like that. So, and if you type in Sakaya on Twitter, you'll be able to find his account on there as well. So both are good follows. You know, for research at this point now. So yeah. Anywho, all right. So let's echo Bill, and let's kind of move on, and we're gonna leave that as is, and let's get to work, shall we? So sorry to be Debbie Downer, but yeah. Let's see, Bailey, Mr. Kamau Zeta, what a builder, right, dude? He was freaking amazing. Bailey says, yeah, definitely frequented his page over the years. Same. Absolutely same. You know, I would see his stuff on Twitter and Instagram, and I'd be like, damn, I need to incorporate some of that. So, yeah. All right. Anywho, kids, what we got done yesterday, we got some good scribing work done here. Actually, let's go super zoom. There we go. And we got our scribing pattern applied. Ooh, yeah, there we go. That's a crispy shot. Look at that. We got that scribing pattern set into the side of the foot and everything. We got the heel done as well. That looks really good. I quite like that. We've got the back of the heel, and then I just started outline scribing that little bit in the middle there as well. So what we're going to do is we're going to put that both of those off to the side. We're going to turn our attention to this the top of the foot here, and this is going to be a huge pain in the ass because this is, you know, going back to the semi-transparent plastic, which is fucking brittle and shit, but it's okay. I will get by. I will get by. I will manage. So, with that being said, we're gonna just basically follow the lines here that we've you know, put down and everything. first thing I think I'm gonna go ahead and do is do the outline scribe of this middle section here. Get that done and out of the way first, so that we have you know, kind of points to you know, for our subsequent lines to connect to, right? So for that, we're gonna start off by using 0.20. This is my favorite width for outlining parts and things like that. So that's what we're gonna use on this guy here. Let's get this centered. There we go. All right. So yeah. So first things first, we're just gonna go right around the top edge here. All right, good deal. Yeah, sorry guys for kind of the Debbie Downer topic, but you know, just kind of wanted to pay my respects in you know, our own way, I guess. So all right, just make sure I'm on frickin' camera here. All right, good deal. Got that top scribed in. Now this crucial inner corner here. All right, I think we got both of those lines scribed in. So now, like I said, now that we have that, we have a bit of a relief point for our subsequent panel lines to connect into. And kind of what I mean by that is that when we scribe, especially these lines, you know, down here, when we go to scribe those, the debris from the scribing needs to go someplace, and having, you know, panel line there will give some relief to that debris and not cause problems for us and everything. No, you know, hopefully no ramping or, you know, anything like that. So, all right, now then, let's see, order of operations here. Let's get this thing back on the foot like this, so that we have a bit of a stable base, and then also too, I can do some measuring off of that recessed toe there that we did, because what I want to have happen, I want these panel lines here, these, you know, these two parallel panel lines, to mirror, you know, get mirrored up here. I want the same width for those panel lines, and I want that to be, you know, the same all around. So let's figure that out here then. All right, so I think first things first, how wide is this? That is 5.5 millimeters. So 5.5 millimeters width is our width for this toe recess. 5.5 millimeters. Somebody remember that. 5.5 millimeters. So what we're going to do, we're going to pull out the chopper and let's get this measured to 5.5 millimeters here. Where's the ruler? There it is. Oh, no, that's not the one. This is the one that I want right here. Okie dokie. So, get the schmutz off of the blade. There we go. Right about there should be 5.5 millimeter. Let's see what we have, yeah? Now what I'm gonna do first is just cut a piece of plastic and see kind of where we are in terms of width for this. Let's see. It's a hair wide, just a hair wide. So we're just gonna kind of nudge that over just a little. All right, that fits, but it's still tight. So a little more, a little bit more. All right, let's try that. And then also too, we want to make sure that we are leaving enough. Oh, that's actually perfect for that recess there. Oh, but on camera, that would be good, right? Yeah, that actually fits perfectly in there. Now I do want it a little thinner so that we can cut our dymo with it. So a little bit more adjustment in, just a little, maybe about 1/2 mil there. And then let's see what we've got. All right, that looks to be just about perfect. All right, we're gonna go with that. We're gonna go with that. Now, these little trimmings and everything that we have here, we're gonna set those off to the back. We'll use those at a later date. All right, so with that, let's square our dymo up here, get that out of there. Get that piece of dymo here. Now, let's make sure. Let's see. Yeah, real nice. That is right there between those panel lines. And that's perfect. That's perfect. Excellent. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Now, one thing that I have not been able to do just yet is to wrap these panel lines down, you know, to this surface here. So, excuse me. That's one thing that we want to get taken care of here first. Now, we need to put a bend to wrap this over, you know, to wrap this over the corner. Now, the best way I've found to do that is take your T-square, flip it around, hold your dymo tape right at this edge along the back, and then you can use this almost as like a miniature like press brake or something like that, and just kind of press that down, and hopefully, you know, that gives us a nice, nice straight bend to our dymo tape. It looks pretty decent. Let's see what we've got here. Yeah, I'd say that's pretty good. Yeah, that'll serve. All right, cool. So let's get this applied, and then let's get these lines transferred, you know, to the other surface there. All right. Okay. That looks good. That's right between the uprights. 3 points. Perfect. Okie dokie. So let's get the chopper out of the way for right now. We'll need that here in a few seconds, so we don't want to put it too far away. Let's get this guy back in here. Boom. And let's go back and set. Now this is, yeah, again, 0.15. There we go. All right, good, good, good. We're not going all the way down with these lines because it doesn't necessitate it. We just need to have these lines go down far enough to where they run underneath of the top of the foot. There we go. Good, good, good. Excellent. So now, let's see, just to kind of mock this up a little bit here. Yeah, nice. Nice, nice, nice. Okie doke. So we'll pop that off of there, and then there you can kind of see how we wrap those lines around that edge. That's exactly what we're looking for. So that's perfect. That is perfect. So let's go ahead and get our piece back onto here. So now, and you can kind of see how those lines now run underneath. There we go, right there in the highlight. You can see how those lines run right underneath the front of the front of the foot there. Yeah, that's what we want. That's what we want. All right, cool. So let's get this. Let's get the chopper back in here. The guillotine, as Andrew has said. Kelvin says, "Get to the chopper," right? And Red Baron's with us. What's going on, buddy? Hey, finally caught a stream. There we go. And Bailey says, "Crisp." Thank you, Bailey. I appreciate you, buddy. All right, so let's get back to it. Let's get our tape back in here. Chop it. Let's get that out of the way. Let's get our block back in here. Boom. And let's go ahead and get this done. All right. Jolly good. All right, so we're getting the tape. Come on. There we go. Now we got it. All right, throw that away.
Good deal. So place our tape ever so carefully here. Making sure that's centered on the panel itself. So what I'm looking at here is I'm trying to see if the space between the edge of the tape to the beveled edge here, and I'm sure you guys can hardly, if you know, if at all, see it, but I'm trying to see if the space is even on both sides, and it looks like it's a little wide on this side, so I do want to try and push this over just a little, just a hair. Okay, I think just a little more, just a very fine adjustments here. There we go. All right, I think that's about as good as she's going to get at this point. All right, so there we go. We got our Dymo tape locked and loaded here. Going back to the 0.15, okay? And let's get some lines set in here. Okay. All right, so now let's get the front of the foot off the bottom here ever so carefully. All right, and now let's get this tape off of here. And we can start to set in other lines here as well. Excuse me. All right, so let's see. It's 5.5, so I'm guessing 5. I'm just checking to make sure that this tape placement is perpendicular to the front edge of the foot here, right? And that looks pretty good. Yeah, we'll keep it as is, press it down nice and even. All right, and then we're gonna go straight across, edge to edge. Okay. All right. Good deal there. Get rid of that. All right. Nice and clean all the way across. Let's get our other lines connected. There we go. Nice and clean. Nice and clean. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Okie dokie. So now we're going to move on to these kind of down lines here. So for that, we're just going to need some longer strip of Dymo. So I just happen to have this cut from something previous. I have no idea what, but we're just going to cut this right in half. Now we got two, and let's go ahead and get these applied here. All right, and I want this right up against the bevel of this foot, this upper part here. About as close as we can get it. Now, obviously, we need to leave a little bit of room for the line itself, but for the most part, I want this pretty dang close to the beveled edge. Man, that's hard to see on this semi-transparent armor here. Alright, I think we got it though. Yeah, alright. It's about as good as she's going to get. Let's just press that down. Good deal. Alright. So now, yeah, see what I mean? Material has to go someplace. Right up here in this inner edge. This is tough right here. It's one of those points where you're going to have to push into the piece a little bit to extend that line up to our up to the line that we, previously put in there. Okay, that's looking pretty good. We're almost good to go. There we are. Very nice. Very, very nice. Okie dokie. So, excuse me. We're going to leave that piece on here. I need another little piece of Dymo. So we got this here from, again, a previous job, and we're just going to, again, cut that in half. And we're just going to use this little bit to connect these two lines here for our diagonal. Okay. All right. So we just need to be real careful with this small piece of Dymo, especially with it overlapping another piece here. So we want to be a little ginger with it. So we're just going to start by setting the line. There's an absolute difference between this semi-transparent stuff and opaque plastic. The chisel just runs through opaque plastic like it's butter. This stuff, not so much. Not so much. All right. Now, we got the line set. Let's bring everything to depth and clean up corners and all that good stuff here. Very good. Very good. All right. Happy with that side. Now let's get caught up with the chat here just real quick, yeah? Let's see. Let's see. Briggsy says, choppy. Briggsy, what's going on, buddy? Good to see you, man. Let's see. Gio says, I have a question.
We have a question.
Gio wants to know how many coats of primer are enough, or what's your preference? I honestly only usually do one coat of primer. Mind you, I do, fairly, nice even coat, just like with paint. I'll do kind of like a dry layer first, very light, and then come back and then just paint that, again, prime it again, and, all in one kind of singular motion. It's not like moving on to another part and then coming back to it. It's just literally spraying it lightly and then going back and spraying it again a little heavier. So I just do one coat of primer. That's all. Yeah. Bill says, Tim, sorry, but this is the only shop I have found with either the Wave or Mr. Hobby small steel rulers. New type. I get it. Andrew says, I bet that ruler doesn't pity any fools, Bill. Excuse me. Says, found another one in California, Gunzo. Yeah, I've heard pretty good things about them. Yeah. Bill says, okay, there you go for those looking for a T-square similar to the one Tim is using, not the Wave one he uses, but similar. Yeah. And then he says he found some of the Wave HT385. Is that the bigger one? No, that's the smaller one? Is that the new small one? Yeah, that's the newer, smaller one in Texas. In Texas. Toy Nest, and I know that's hard to see on screen. I'm sorry, you guys, but toynestworld.com. All right. Bill says that is the small T-square that Tim uses. Nice, nice. George has a question.
We have a question.
He says, why not prime these soft, semi-clear plastics before scribing? That's a great question, actually. I think
think it was Handren that asked last week that kind of same question. Truth of the matter is that that would just waste primer, and I don't have primer wasting money right now. So, yeah, it's basically done from, you know, necessity at this point. Normally I would. These would be primed and everything, so I could, you know, see everything much easier. Yeah, unfortunately, I don't have primer wasting money right now, George. That's the only downside. So, Kelvin, he's got a question.
We have a question.
He says, before I forget again, whatever happened to the RX-78 slash Jesta kit bash? Inquiring minds wish to know. The remix, yes. That is still ongoing. You know, I will go back to that. But this being kind of the first build out of the gates, I wanted to build to get my skill set back up to par, so that then I could go back and jump on that at a later date. So, yeah, that's not you know, that's not a lost cause or anything like that. It's just on pause. Kind of rhyme. Not a lost cause, but on pause. Cheers to that. Tim is dropping bars on Wu-Tang Wednesday. I'm not dropping bars. I don't drop bars. Anywho, Briggsy says, "What's up? What's going on, dude?" Old school, Mr. George says, "Got it. Thanks, and sorry to hear." Yeah, I mean, it's just part of being unemployed, you know. You got to watch every penny. You know, we're building something here. We're building something. So we'll see. We'll get there one day. Gio answered the question today. He says, "This is going to be against the hobby completely. I hate the building part of the hobby. Cutting, sanding, runners left over. This would be part of the hobby that I would like to skip." Gotcha. Gio, it sounds like you just want a figure, bud. Like an action figure or something like that. Because that is, man, that's the good part of it. It's like the masking and shit and the sanding. Blech, nah. But putting the thing together, man, there's something very therapeutic in the, especially like the snapping process, you know? It's just, man, you kind of get lost in it, and it's one of those things where it's just like you go into the zone, right? And you can multitask. Like I'll sit and I'll watch like TV and stuff like that. Yeah, it's I don't know. I think it's one of the more enjoyable parts. And then, of course, you know, doing what we're doing here, obviously, yeah, super. This is the shit that I really freaking love. I actually love the building part of it more than having the finished model, if you can believe it. Because I'll tell you, when I worked on the Hummingbird, and I worked on that thing for 4 fucking years. 4 years, right? When I finished it, right, I kind of went through almost like a form of postpartum depression almost, you know? Like a post-build depression. Like I was sad that I was done with it, right? Because I was having such a good time working on it that you know, honestly, I didn't want to stop working on it, but you know, I had to stop working on it. So you know, that was kind of the excuse me, the thing.
But, yeah. Just one of those things.
Anyway. Let's see. Todd says, well, I'm off to sleep. Hope everyone has a good night. Todd, take care, buddy. Take care, man. Stay cool up there in Canada. Happy Canada Day, by the way. George says, am I the only one who likes sanding? Anything to do with construction is my happy place. I think quite possibly you may be the only person on the face of the earth that enjoys sanding, George. You may be a unicorn at that point. Gio says, recently I've been doing one coat and the primer looks good. Yeah, I mean, as long as the primer is smooth, as long as your surface is good, as long as you have proper coverage, why waste it? Doesn't make any sense. You know, it's not like anybody's going to see the primer. You know, the primer serves just a couple purposes. It serves to, you know, better bond the paint to the plastic. It serves as your, you know, your foundational level to check for, you know, surface imperfections and things like that. You know, those are its main surfaces, or its main purposes. And mind you, it does those two purposes very, very well, better than anything else. So at that point, it's just like, if it's done its job, move on. You know, that's my opinion anyway. George says 4 years. That's like all of high school or one undergrad degree. Yeah, and I mean, on that build, I earned my degree on that build. There's no doubt. There's no doubt. That was the build that I improved the most over a very, very short time. And it was just me experimenting and basically jumping in the deep end and learning and trying to ascertain how others accomplished things, right? How other builders accomplished things. You know, so looking at a lot of other builders and things like that, a lot of reference photos, doing the homework, doing the research and everything. And that's kind of, you know, the build that I really obviously cut my teeth on, you know, scratch building, customization, resin casting, all of that stuff. So, yeah, man, the Hummingbird definitely was a. It was definitely a master's degree in building. There's no doubt about that. So, Gio says, I can mask for hours and I can scribe for days, but cutting parts, sanding, I can skip it. I got you. Andrew says, I'm fighting a bit of depression at the moment. I feel like there's nothing for me to do because of the heat. I can only run one of my PCs at the moment, or I trip the second floor circuit breaker. Yeah, man. Andrew, like, it's tough, you know? You have to work within those constraints, unfortunately. You know what I mean? So, yeah. He says, my media server is busy re-encoding some shows to a better codex, and so I can't use the PC where I build models, and it's boring to sit in silence. I gotcha. I mean, you can always plug your phone in and watch it on the phone. You know, just a thought. Just a thought. So, all right, let's get back to this. Let's get these lines scribed in here, yeah? What time is it? I don't even know what time it is. Wow, it's 11:45 already. All right, well, we'll see where the night takes us. We'll see where the night takes us. that looks good there. Let's get, did I just, yeah, just, oh, nope, there it is. All right.
I knew I had this little connecting piece here somewhere, but I think I put my arm on it or something and it kind of migrated.
Migrated someplace else.
All right, so get this little connector piece of tape on here, just like that. That looks good. Press that down into place. Oh, come on, fucker. This little sumbitch doesn't want to stick onto the part. Okay, all right, I see you. I see. Oh man, I had good placement there before, and then this little bastard migrated on me. All right, there we go. Now we got it. All right, let's be quick and ginger here.
Okay, we got that line set in. Let's get this
Cleaned up. That looks really good. Excellent. I'm happy with that. Get that debris out of that line. Okay. I think we got that front part good to go.
So I wanted to put in a little kind of decorative line here at the bottom of this part.
Okay. There we are. Very nice. Line is set. Are we straight? Yeah. Good deal. Very good. Very, very good. Very happy with that. Still need to fill in that hole there. I'll do that at a later date and everything, but you know, it is what it is. All right, cool, 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 cool. So, with that being said, let's move on to the middle part of the foot here. Now, we need some more Dymo tape, because what we're going to do is we're going to set it right up against the edge there, and again do something similar to this pattern down on the lower foot. So now obviously we don't need this big ass piece of tape here, so we're going to cut a few little strips off of that. Come on. There we go. Alrighty then, let's get back to it here. Alright, so we've got our little strips of Dymo. And, you know, they don't have to be perfectly, you know, perpendicular or anything. We just need a straight edge. That's really all we need. So, you know, obviously you saw me, I didn't measure anything or any of that because we don't really need that for this application. We just need a straight edge. Okay. Just making sure that that is properly placed there. That looks pretty good. Set that. And right up the side. All right, very good. All right, so now let's get this piece of tape on here. We're going to transfer it underneath here. We're going to connect both of these lines to one another, or at least try to. Let's see. That needs to go over a bit. That goes right there. Alright, I think we're in good shape. Get that pressed in. Yeah, okay, cool. So that we're connecting the line that we just scribed with our line down here, connecting those underneath on this this foot part here. Now this is a very awkward angle. Jesus Christ, that's a really awkward angle. All right. Man, okay. Yeah, that's a tough angle to scribe right there. Everything's working against you. Everything's in the way of your, you know, of your sight. This piece here is kind of in the way. This piece is blocking my vision. Okay. All right. So I think we got the line at very least set. Looks pretty good. And seeing going from this direction is impossible because it's an even worse angle. Even worse angle. All right. Oh man. Okay. What was I thinking? Again, this is just one of the parts with this kit, man. Odd compound angles and compound curves and just, yeah, all over the damn place. Now, obviously, this top side is way easier. There we are. Very good. We'll catch up with the chat here in just a second. All right, that looks pretty dang good. You can kind of see that line right here. Yeah, that's looking good. All right, let's get caught up in the chat, yeah? All right. So, Cycross, Mr. Dwayne, he's with us. He says, good evening. Dwayne, what's going on, buddy? Let's see. Bill says, Tim, I don't spray primer from my airbrush. I happen to have a new 40 ml jar of Surfacer 1200. Want me to send that to you? I don't see myself running primers through my airbrush anytime soon. You don't have to, Bill. Like I said, I've got primer. It's not for lack of primer. Like I have a good amount of primer right now. I just don't want to waste it. You know what I mean? That's kind of my thing at this point, is I just don't want to waste it. So yeah, but I appreciate it. Dwayne says, great question of the day. I hate the initial painting. It requires a lot of forethought and needs to be clean so everything else can go easier. Yeah, that's fair. I had mentioned masking, so that kind of goes part and parcel, with what you're saying, Dwayne. Yeah. Oh, man. I'm still finding myself having to rehydrate from earlier today, sweating so much. I am definitely parched. So, sorry about that, kids. Bill says, yeah, building Gunpla and Warhammer are part of how I manage depression and anxiety. I focus so much on what I'm doing that all those extraneous thoughts just fade away. Hell yeah. And Bill, and that's completely normal. I'd be a fucking liar if I didn't say I've done it, myself many times before, right? Going through those tough times, especially like the divorce and everything, that was sucked, and luckily I was, I had you guys to kind of, as a support system, you know what I mean? So, that was a really, really, helpful thing during that time, so yeah, I totally get it, dude. I totally get it. Dwayne says it's great therapy, Bill. Very meditative. Hell yeah. Bill says it can be. It can also be avoidance. Kind of working on balancing it with my psychologist at the moment. Yeah, I think we all have an avoidance at some point, So, no, I get it. Dwayne says it can be if you're not getting other stuff done, but it's good to use it as a tool to find regulation. But after that, you still need to do stuff away from the bench. True. Bill says, has
Avoidant personality disorder. Yeah, I can relate. I can relate. Dwayne says, shouldn't you be in bed, George? Wow. Bill says, George doesn't sleep. He runs on coffee and paper towels. Holy shit. George says, haha, but probably true. Jesus. And Dwayne says, that's true. I can't seem to get up as early as him without great effort. Oh, dude, right? I'm a night owl. Dwayne says, poor Tim just said he's going to catch up in the chat. It'll be 35 minutes before he reads this. Oh, come on, nah. Wu-Tang is for the children. Yes, yes, yes. Thank you. Someone who fucking got that. Thank you. See, Dwayne, you're a real one right there. Wu-Tang is definitely for the children. Fucking love it. Bill says, I don't want this bottle to go to waste. With my living and hobby work area, I have been using spray can primers, so this jar is just going to waste right now. So anyone want it, let me know. I mean, Bill, are you just not going to use it? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't want to just, be like, oh yeah, like a fucking leech or something. Like, yeah, oh, let me, gimme. He says, nope. All right. I mean, as long as, so this is my thing. As long as you know that you are absolutely never, ever, ever going to use it, then yeah, I mean, I will accept it graciously at that point, But like, I don't want to, at the same time, I don't want to take it off of someone who even has a very small percentage of using that. You know what I'm saying? Because like, I hoard shit. I won't lie. I hoard shit. And not like an episode of Hoarders. It's not like that. But like, I will buy things in bulk, right? Especially when it comes to like option parts and detail bits and things like that. So I have it so where if I run out of a jar, then I can just go and tap the backlog or whatever, you know what I mean? So I tend to think that way, which is probably different from a lot of people. But yeah, man, if you have like zero chance of ever using it, then yeah, like I said, I will graciously take it off your hands. So yeah. George says Wu-Tang is for the hoarders. That's fair. That's fair. Brian says he has Jess as in bulk. What? Brian, you lost me there, bud. I don't know what you're talking about. Oh, because he deleted it. He deleted it, and I read it. It got through on the general, or the universal chat. Womp womp. You tried to be sneaky there, Brian. I got you. Bill says, yeah, I have no idea when I might get set up to spray primers from my airbrush again, and my storage room only has so much room. I have to get rid of stuff periodically to make room. I gotcha. Yeah, then you know what? If you're looking to part ways with it, Bill, I will, like I said, I will graciously accept that 100%. So, Dwayne says hoarders are for the children. Oh, here we go. Brian says he has just as in bulk. He don't need it, right? He says, listen here. I have big old hands, and I'm typing on the phone on the toilet. Oh man, wow. No, that's a great mental picture, isn't it? Oh my God. And George says, speaking of, I just cataloged and arranged all of the Wave and Kotobukiya aftermarket parts. Hoarder? Probably, but when you need them, oh my God, right? Like, obviously you guys can't see it, but like up here against this wall, I have my pegboard, and I'll show you guys at some point. I'll make a video of the, the studio and everything. But I have my whole big pegboard of nothing but, 3/4 of it is Kotobukiya parts, and then another quarter of it is miscellaneous like Wave, Bandai option parts. There are, some of the little weapons sets from Kotobukiya up there as well. So, yeah, I have a backlog of option parts. That is for sure. So, all right, let's get back onto this thing. What time is it? 12:06. Let's keep going. Fuck it. Let's keep going. All right. So I wanna get this side, kind of done at this point. All right. So what we're gonna do is to come down to about there. All right, and what's the width on that? Let's see. That is going to be 4.5 millimeters, 4.8-ish. We'll call it 4.8. The reason why we're going to call it 4.8 is because what I'm about to show you makes life so much easier. So much easier. Let's get the chopper back in here, and actually I'm going to go to camera 2 so I can kind of show you what I mean by making life a little easier for you. Let's go back to normal camera 2, and then let me find it here. This is it. All right, so technically my mark was probably right around 4.5 millimeters, right? Now, to make life a little easier, I have this strip from Evergreen. This is 4.8 millimeters, right? So we're gonna pop this in here, and we're gonna use this as our spacer, just to make life easier. And that's what we're gonna use for this. Now, where'd the Dymo go? There it is. Jesus. All right, so we got a 4.8 millimeter. Let's square up the end first. Get that out of there. All right, and then, boom, right there. 4.8 millimeters, that's what we're looking for. 4.8 millimeters. Now, one thing that we are also going to do is we're going to cut a 45-degree angle into this thing. Yeah, cool. All right, so I want the 45-degree angle to be somewhat chunky. Now, for that, again, we're gonna make life a little bit easier. So the way to figure out how big you want your bevel cut into a corner to be is that you, number one, you think about how the length of that bevel, right? How long that surface is, and then double whatever that is. So say if you want that corner, that corner cutout to be 0.5 mil long, well then you use 1 millimeter. If you want it to be 2 millimeters long, you use 1 millimeter. Strike that, you half it, yes. So if you want it to be 2 millimeters, you use 1 millimeter. If you want it to be 1 millimeter, you use 0.5 mil. If you want it to be 0.5 mil, you use 1/4 mil, so on and so forth. I got that wrong. Sorry about that, kids. All right, so we're using 1 millimeter because I want this to be a chunky bevel here, a chunky boy. So we're gonna lock that into place. And I'm just using this strip standing on its edge, so because I know it's 1 millimeter, right? Now then, so we've got this. We need our 45-degree guide here. We're going to put that right up against the blade, lock that into place, and then we're going to take our piece of Dymo, and let me show you, try to show you here. There we go. We're going to put that right up against this 45, the 45 millimeter or 45 degree guide here. We're going to put that right up against there, and we're going to touch the corner right there to our this guide here. Right now, this is a smaller piece, so I don't want to take my chances, and we're going to use our little skewer. We're going to hold him there. Boom, chop him down, and there we go. And there's your big old bevel out of there, right? So we're gonna take that, put the chopper off to the side here, bring our block back in. Let's go back to super zoom. And right about there. All right, let's get the backing peeled off of this thing. All right, and then let's bring our piece back in here. Okay, and then I'm going to lay this right on that panel line that we scribed just a little bit ago, and I am going to set the top of the beveled edge to the actual edge of the piece, so we have you know, consistent spacing and all of that. I just want to kind of match this up with the line. There we go. Perfect. Okie dokie. So now let's get this thing scribed in here. Okay, this is looking pretty good. Let's get these corners cleaned up here. Very nice, very nice. All right, perfect. That's set in there really good. All right, so let's get that guy off of there, set him off to the side. Yeah, that looks nice. That looks nice. Okie dokie. So now I'm going to freehand this connection line here. That debris out of there.
Very good, very good. Yeah, I like that. All right, so now the dreaded underside. Okay, this is a little bit easier. It's not as bad of an angle. Okay. All right, that looks pretty dang good. All right, sweet. So, a couple other things that I want to do for this kind of side design here is I want to put some parallels to the edge. Okay, that looks good there. Yeah, very nice. I like that. I like that quite a lot. All right, now this bottom one, thinking we make it a little thicker. A little thicker. Thicker than a Snicker, right? So let's real quick get these lines connected and these corners cleaned and everything there first. Yeah, very good, very good. All right, so we're gonna put away our 0.15. Like I said, for this bottom line, we're gonna go a little thicker. We're gonna go 0.30 on this bottom line. Just differing the width of these lines here. Right about there. Perfect. Okie dokie. All right, good. All right, get that tape out of here because that's gonna, let's run its course here at this point. Yeah, that looks really good. That looks really good. All right, perfect. Yeah, that wider line here at the bottom, basically it gives you a much deeper shadow, which basically would go to represent either like a hinge point or a side of the panel that, you know, can open or something along those lines, right? So that's kind of, you know, what we're going for, that look. So let's get caught up here real quick, yeah? Let's see, Brian says, I have a lot of Hyaku parts instead of Kodo and Wave. They're good parts to have, buddy. They're good parts to have. Bill says, okay, I got to get going myself. Night all. Bill, take care, bud. Take care, man. George says, good night, Bill. Time for me to bail as well. Later, Tim and everyone. George, good night, bud. Dwayne says, I'm getting my back against the wall before I get my first chisels. I'm pin drilling pilot holes, and I'm gonna need them for the rest of this work I'm doing. Interesting. Okay. Okay. He says, I'll probably start my etch journey on my current build before I start working on what I need chisels for. He says, every time I get into one of these streams, it's a kick in the butt to get back to the bench. See? That's good. That's a good thing. That's a good thing. Geo says, what I do now to build faster, I use a Sharpie. Nubs that are visible, I mark them, then I sand after full assembly. Check it again. That's, yeah, very valid. Very, very valid, Geo. Let's see. Good night. Oh, I think Julius meant Bill and George, not Brandon. Yeah, Brandon wasn't on tonight. I don't know why. He's probably got stuff to do. No big deal. No big deal. But anywho. All right, let's see what else we got to do on this thing. And then we're going to punch the ticket for tonight and call it. Let's see. All right, so we're just going to do the one side. I'm not going to do this side. But I think what we'll go ahead and do is get this little micro panel done here and then call it finito at that point. Let's see something here. Nope, it's probably going to be 2 millimeter. Where's the 2 mil? There you are. Yeah, 2 millimeter. All right, cool. All right, so we're going to get our piece of Dymo tape here. We've got our 2 millimeter scribing jig. We're actually going to use this to cut a piece of length of Dymo here, right? So we're just going to bump it right up on the edge here. This is overhanging our 1, 2, 3 block. So it's basically, you know, acting as a holder and then also obviously a spacer. And we're just going to do nice shallow cuts. There it is. All right, get off of there. All right, so we've got our 2 millimeter strip of Dymo here, right? So for that, what we need to do is we need to bevel the front side here. Now we need it to a certain length, and that length is 7 millimeters. All right, 7 millimeters. So again, using our 1, 2, 3 block as you know, kind of a steady bit here. We're going to use our T-square and put this right up against the edge. We're going to push it down to about there, which is 7 mil, and then cut it right along that edge. And there we go. We've got our 7 millimeter strip. So now what we have to do is we have to bevel the front edge here. And for that, I'm just going to freehand it here. Just like that. There we go. All right, so there, what we've done essentially is to make a scribing template. We are going to be scribing outside of, of this piece of Dymo here. And this will be our, kind of last operation for the evening. So let's go ahead and get this little guy on there. Okay. All right, that's way longer. Way longer than what I actually need. So we're gonna cut off a wee bit of this here. Probably a measuring mistake on my part, but c'est la vie. There we go, that's much better. All right, spacing looks good. We are looks like we are properly aligned with the panel line. Take your time with placement. Placement is everything. Right there. All right, good deal. All right, so let's get our 0.15 back into play. And we're going to do the diagonal drop first. Very nice. Ooh, okay. One of the Dymo pieces just, I guess I hit it and it flew off and hit me. All right. Do our parallel. Okay. Let's get the Dymo off of there. Get away. Get that debris out of the corner. All right, that is looking good. All right, one last operation to do. Just our bisecting line, and then again for that, 0.30. Very good. Very, very good. All right, perfect. So now let's get this mounted back on to the front, or the bottom of the front here. Let's check our work. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that looks really good. All right, so real quick, let me, as I reach for the visor that I literally just took off, let's get this sanded a little bit so you can kind of see these lines a bit better here. I probably should have kept it off the bottom of the foot for this, but you know, live and learn. Okay. All right, so hopefully you guys can see that. Let's get this, like I said, back on the bottom of the foot. And yeah, there we go. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I'm real happy with that. I'm real happy with that. Look at that, especially that top part here. This little section right here, I really, really like that a lot. Yeah, that's looking good. And then in unison with the lines that we did on the red part, yeah, simple, elegant, to the point. Yeah, good stuff. Good stuff right there. Very happy with that. All right, that's where we're gonna punch the clock for tonight, kids. As always. Buenos noches. Where's Enrico when you need him? Golly, man. Let's see. Dwayne says, okay, it's getting to bedtime for me. Have a good one, Tim. Dwayne, thank you, buddy, for watching. Appreciate you, man. Gio says, I bought Dymo tape because I think I saw you used it, but the only one I have is really flimsy. Oh, yeah, so you got the printable tape. What you need, Gio, is the embossing tape. That's what this is, the embossing tape. That's that makes all the difference in the world, because there's two types of Dymo tapes. There's the thermal print tape, which is very flimsy, but then there's also the embossing tape, which these go with the old school Dymo labelers, you know, where they had the dial on top, and you had to dial in the letter or number that you wanted to emboss, and then, you know, you would squeeze the handle and it would make that sound, ka-chunk, ka-chunk, you know. So that's, yeah, the embossing tape is what you need. That's the crucial point. Crucial point. So, all right, kiddos, let's go camera one. Let's close it out for the evening. Let's punch the clock. Let's get out of here. So, with that being said, you guys, come on back tomorrow during the day if you can. Otherwise, we'll be back here on Friday night, close out the week and everything. Yeah, so just have a wonderful rest of your evening. Build something cool, stay safe out there, and of course, make sure you sign up for notifications on the Child of Mecha store, shop.childofmecha.com. It's definitely in the chat, the link somewhere.
But go sign up for that. You will get a nice discount code, you know, a good percentage off of your first order and everything. So we're going to have a lot of good stuff in there once that rolls out. I think it's going to be on Friday. So definitely sign up for that and get notified as soon as it drops. So with that being said, you guys, again, have a wonderful day, rest of your day, evening, whatever. And be safe out there. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Stay tuned for the end credits. See you guys.